I don't even know how many takes I've done by now, guys. Oh my God. I am really burnt out physically. I love my job. I love what I do, but I'm physically burnt out from far too much travel and all this other stuff. So I apologize if my energy is a little off in these videos. Anyway, this lesson is all about long-term promotions. So I want you to just dip your toe here. I don't want you to freak out about this or get overwhelmed because this is the long-term strategy, right? I want you to give you the tools that are going to lead to many, many years of success. But if you're doing what I suggested you do in the last lesson, which is building relationships on a regular basis and reaching out to people in your network one-on-one, you're going to get through your first year with no problems. And then if you add things like an updated LinkedIn profile and one social media network that you post and share some things on, you're going to crush it. Okay. So what we're going to do in this lesson, you're going to you're going to pick your number one in-person strategy, your number one online strategy, and the social network that you want to focus on and learn how to master for the next couple of years, probably. Because social media, who knows what's going to change in a year. But really what this is about is looking at the in-person and online strategies that you enjoy that are going to feel good to you, as I talked about in the introduction lesson, right? So in person, that might be going to networking events or lunches. It might be volunteering. It might be putting on workshops if you're a trainer or a teacher. Going to, if you're a designer, I used to go to like AIGI events, or marketing events, that sort of stuff. That's all in-person stuff. And then you meet people, you exchange business cards. You gotta follow up though. That's the really important piece, is actually following up. Like for years, I just collected business cards. I had this big stack in my living room, literally. Before I left the United States, I scanned them. Still have this information. I've never followed up with these people. I don't know why I bothered. So follow up. Don't do that stupid stuff. Online, your goal is to drive traffic to your website. So strategies like that are blogging, sharing stuff on social media that's helpful. If it's your content, it's best because then it's going to link back to you. But if it's not, you can still get drive traffic that way, because what happens if you have a social profile, like what I did as a designer, I focused primarily on Twitter because that was hot at the time. I would share content using hashtags that my market was likely to use, and then people would follow me. They'd go and they'd look at my profile, see it as a designer. They'd click through my website. Like I got clients that way, right? So stuff like that. Or you can also do some funnels and ads. Paid ads is it is such an easy way to grow your business comparatively, but of course it involves a lot of time to set up and some money. I'm going to do a little bit of information on that in a bonus module, but we're not going to focus on it here. We're going to talk mostly about organic stuff. So anyway, exercise 1, I want you to just make a list. Think about your ideal client, right? You should have a persona. Mine is Christina. Somebody in the group was AJ. You should have a persona of your client and an idea of what they are like. Think about where your client is spending their time, both in person and online. So in exercise 1, you're going to look at in person. Where does this person go? Where do they shop? What hobbies do they have? What, are they out hiking every weekend with the local hiking club and you're going to meet them there? Are they going to national conferences? Do they travel full time and, they're reading magazines? Whatever. Just think about where these people are and make a list, and then pick one idea from that list. Or actually think about your list and then think about how you can capitalize on that, either by being at that place or doing something in that place where they would interact with your brand. So putting up a flyer if it's in it, you're not actually there, that sort of stuff. Just make a list of ideas. It's just all about brainstorming, be creative, have fun with it, and then just pick one idea that you think is going to get you the most bang for your buck. So I wrote it down in the lesson, but when I moved to Savannah, I had retargeted myself to startups again. Not retarget, not important. I had modified kind of what I had been doing. And so I wanted to get really involved in the local startup community. And so I made a list of all the organizations related to startups and tech and that sort of stuff in the South. And I found where they had local meetups and local volunteer organizations and whatever. And I just made a commitment to going to one a week. And I did that for a while until I found one that I really liked. And then I volunteered and I became an advisor for them. And it's still serving me now. I got a lot of business that way. So just pick one idea and then take an action towards it, whether that's finding the meeting or just putting a calendar event to find the meeting. Make time to find the meeting, but schedule it or do it. And don't worry, because you can always change your mind. And now you've got a list of dozens of ways you can connect to your clients in person. Okay? And then in exercise 2, you're going to repeat it. It's virtually the same exercise, except you're going to think about online. And for some of you, this is not your expertise. You've not spent a ton of time online, so it's new and it might be a little bit harder. But just think about, your online activities and where your client might be, right? What social networks are they on? What websites do they visit? What do they read? Where do they shop? Are they always on Amazon? Are they on Etsy? What is their personality? Where are they doing? And how might you capitalize on that? What are some ideas where you might be able to be there and get your name or your brand, your logo in front of them and get them to click and come visit you? Make a list of ideas, brainstorm, have fun. Again, pick one and commit to taking it in action. And then the last thing that part of this lesson is to just narrow down which social network you want to focus on for amplifying. You don't have to be on social media to grow your business online. You really don't. But if you're not, you're going to have to be really good at the reaching out piece and the one-on-one piece, right? So it's a trade-off. The one thing about social media is it makes it a lot easier to amplify your message and reach more people quickly. But I don't recommend that you go into every single network. Pick one that your client is on, that you enjoy, you'll use regularly, and that makes sense for you. And focus on learning what you can about it. Become a master. You don't have to master it tomorrow, don't worry, but you want to focus on that being your area. For me, it's Instagram. It used to be Twitter. Now I know very little about Twitter. Regardless of what you pick, I definitely recommend that you do LinkedIn. Particularly if you are a traditional freelancer. If you're a coach, it's not quite as critical, although I still get a lot of interest from LinkedIn. But it's absolutely from any career perspective, it's so powerful if you know how to use it. So learn how to use Instagram or LinkedIn. I will put some information in the bonus content around that. But for now, just pick what network you want to focus on. And then when you're all done with all of that, post in the Facebook group about the strategies that you picked and why you picked them. And then ask the group for ideas on, how you might get started or if they have any better ideas, Use your connections in the audience to learn from people in different avenues and different career expertise, because everybody has a different experience. And sometimes you would be amazed what somebody in a totally different industry can teach you about your own industry. So I'll see you in the next lesson.